LeBron James was speaking about team loyalty on a famous sports show. "I've always been honest when leaving my teams," said James, with his characteristic confidence. "I shared all my decisions openly, everyone knows that." Just then an urgent message came through the host's earpiece. The host stammered in surprise. "We just received incredible news. Kyrie Irving wants to connect to our studio and claims he has footage that proves LeBron's statements don't reflect reality." As everyone in the studio held their breath, Kyrie appeared on screen. "LeBron," said Kyrie in a calm voice, "do you remember what you told your teammates before leaving Cleveland?" Kyrie Irving appeared on screen, his face showing determination. "LeBron's statements about loyalty to his teams don't reflect reality," said Kyrie in a calm but sharp tone. "I want to show you video from a private team meeting we had in the summer of 2017, before he left Cleveland. This meeting wasn't officially recorded, but I recorded it on my phone because I knew someday the truth would need to come out." LeBron's face froze on screen. Kyrie continued, "In this video, LeBron clearly tells us, 'I'm leaving, you guys do whatever you want,' and admits he had already made a deal with Los Angeles for his future." The host caught his breath. "Is this true, LeBron?" Before LeBron could answer, Kyrie handed the USB drive to the studio technician. "Watch and decide for yourselves," he said. As the video was about to load, the program cut to a commercial break. What did Kyrie's video actually show? Were LeBron's claims about team loyalty about to crumble? And what else was discussed in this meeting that had been kept secret for years? Welcome to the Famous Stories channel. Whatever city you're watching from, please write it in the comments below. If you're curious about unknown and never-before-heard truths, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like our videos. Spotlight was one of the most respected discussion platforms in the sports world. That morning, the program welcomed LeBron James, one of basketball's biggest names. The studio lights were brighter than usual. Host Mark Wilson greeted viewers at the beginning of the program and introduced his special guest of the day. "Today in our studio, we're hosting a true basketball legend," said host Mark Wilson. "Four-time NBA champion, four-time league MVP, and undisputedly one of the greatest names in basketball history, LeBron James." LeBron James entered the studio wearing a black suit that perfectly complemented his athletic frame. His confident stride and easy smile showed why he had become not just a basketball icon but a cultural phenomenon. The other commentators, former NBA player Greg Morris and sports analyst Sophia Chen, also greeted him warmly. Wilson began, "LeBron, you've achieved many successes in your career. You've won championships with 3 different teams, broken countless records. But today I want to discuss a somewhat different topic with you, some tough decisions you've had to make throughout your career journey, particularly about changing teams." "Every move I made was a decision I thought about carefully," LeBron replied, leaning back slightly in his chair. "The decisions to leave Cleveland for Miami, then return to Cleveland, and eventually join the Lakers, these weren't choices I made lightly, and in each case I always tried to be open and honest with everyone involved." "So you informed your teammates about your decisions in advance?" Wilson asked, pressing for specifics. "Absolutely," said LeBron confidently, making direct eye contact with Wilson. "I've always been honest. I always told players in advance when I was leaving the team. I don't like surprising people, especially teammates I've fought alongside in the trenches. That's just not how I operate." Greg Morris interjected, "What about your first departure from Cleveland, that famous television special, The Decision? Did your teammates know beforehand what you were going to announce?" LeBron's expression changed slightly, a flicker of reflection crossing his face. "I was young then, still figuring things out. Maybe the way I announced it wasn't perfect. I've acknowledged that before. But yes, the teammates who were close to me knew my intentions. I didn't leave them completely in the dark." "And your second departure from Cleveland?" Sophia Chen asked, leaning forward. "When did you discuss going to Los Angeles with your teammates?" LeBron shifted in his seat, his posture straightening. "I've always been loyal to my teams and friends," he said, his voice becoming more emphatic. "Even when leaving Cleveland the second time, I told everyone openly about my plans. Maybe not everyone was happy with my decision, but at least they heard it from me directly. That's what matters." Just then there was a commotion at the back of the studio. The floor director was making urgent gestures, and a producer quickly approached Wilson and whispered something in his ear. Wilson's expression suddenly changed, first surprise, then what looked like controlled excitement. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, his voice taking on a new edge, "we've just received some remarkable news. Kyrie Irving is watching our program right now and has contacted our producers. He wants to connect to the studio live." Wilson paused for effect, and he claims that what LeBron has just told us about team loyalty doesn't reflect reality. He says he has footage that will prove this claim. A palpable tension instantly filled the studio. LeBron's expression remained controlled, but there was a subtle tightening around his eyes. The camera caught his hands briefly clenching before relaxing again. "We're connecting Kyrie Irving to the program," said Wilson. "Kyrie, can you hear us?" The large studio monitor flickered, and Kyrie Irving appeared on screen. He was in what looked like a training facility, wearing a Dallas Mavericks practice jersey. Unlike his often enigmatic public persona, today his expression was unusually direct and determined. "Yes, I can hear you clearly, Mark," said Kyrie, his voice measured. "Hello, LeBron." "Hey, Kyrie," said LeBron, forcing a casual tone that didn't quite match his body language. "How are you, brother?" "I'm good, LeBron," said Kyrie with a slight nod. "I was watching your program this morning, and when I heard what you said about team loyalty and being open with teammates, I felt I needed to clarify some things. For the record." Wilson, sensing the dramatic potential, quickly jumped in. "Kyrie, which of LeBron's statements specifically do you disagree with?" Kyrie took a moment before responding, his gaze steady. "LeBron's statements about loyalty to teams don't reflect the reality that I and other Cavaliers players experienced," he said, his tone calm but pointed, especially his claim that he was open with his teammates before leaving Cleveland. "That's simply not what happened." LeBron's brow furrowed. "Kyrie, I'm not sure what you're referring to. I want to show you video from a private team meeting we had in the summer of 2017, Kyrie continued, cutting him off. "This was shortly after we lost the NBA Finals to Golden State. This meeting wasn't officially recorded or sanctioned by the team, but I recorded it on my phone because I sensed that things were changing, and I knew someday the truth would need to come out." The studio fell silent. Even Wilson seemed momentarily at a loss for words. "In this video," Kyrie continued, "LeBron clearly tells us, 'I'm leaving, you guys do whatever you want,' and admits he had already made a deal with Los Angeles for his future. This was a full year before he publicly announced his move to the Lakers." The camera cut to LeBron, whose expression had hardened. His usual media-trained composure was slipping, revealing something more genuine, a mixture of surprise and concern. "Is this true, LeBron?" Wilson asked, finding his voice again. LeBron took a deep breath. "Kyrie, I don't know which video you're talking about, but watch and decide for yourselves," said Kyrie, holding up what appeared to be a USB drive. "I've already sent this video to your producers. It speaks for itself." Wilson looked off camera, receiving confirmation from his team. "It appears our team has indeed received a video file from Kyrie," he said. "We'll need a moment to review and prepare it for broadcast. Ladies and gentlemen," Wilson continued, turning to the camera, "we're going to take a short commercial break while we prepare this apparently explosive footage that Kyrie Irving has provided. Stay with us for what could be a revealing look behind the scenes of one of the NBA's most successful yet complicated team relationships." When the program returned from the commercial break, the atmosphere in the studio had transformed completely. The casual conversational tone was gone, replaced by a thick tension that seemed to electrify the air. LeBron James had visibly composed himself during the break, but his body language, sitting straighter, shoulders slightly tensed, betrayed his awareness of the stakes. "Welcome back to the program," said Wilson. "For those just joining us, we're here with LeBron James, and Kyrie Irving has unexpectedly connected to our broadcast with what he claims is video evidence contradicting LeBron's statements about his transparency with teammates. Before we show this footage, Kyrie, can you give us more context about when and where this meeting took place?" Kyrie nodded. "This meeting happened about 3 weeks after the 2017 NBA Finals, at a private dinner in Cleveland. It wasn't an official team function, more of a players-only gathering. The main guys from the team were there. Me, LeBron, Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson, J.R. Smith, and a few others. We were discussing our off-season plans and the direction of the team." "And what prompted you to record this dinner?" Wilson asked. "That's not something players typically do." The atmosphere within the team was tense at that time, Kyrie explained. "We had just lost the finals for the second time in 3 years to Golden State. There were rumors swirling about everyone's future, mine included. I wasn't certain about my own path forward, and I wanted to document these conversations. It was for my personal record, never intended to be public." But hearing LeBron today, claiming he always kept his teammates informed, Kyrie shook his head slightly. "That's just not accurate." Wilson turned to LeBron. "Do you remember this dinner meeting, LeBron?" LeBron nodded slowly. "Yes, we did have a team dinner that summer. But I think there's going to be a lot of context missing from whatever Kyrie is about to show. I think it's best we watch the video and then discuss," said Wilson. "Our technical team has prepared the footage. Let's take a look." The studio screen switched to show the video. The quality wasn't professional, clearly captured on a smartphone discreetly placed on or under a table. Despite the somewhat grainy image, the faces were clearly identifiable. The Cavaliers players were seated around a large private dining table in what appeared to be a restaurant's back room. LeBron James was prominently visible on one side, with Kyrie Irving almost directly across from him. The video appeared to start mid-conversation. Tristan Thompson's voice was heard first. "So what about next year? Is everyone coming back? What's the plan?" The camera captured LeBron taking a sip from his glass before responding. His voice was clear in the recording. "Look guys, I want to be honest with you, I'm not going to stay here long term." This statement seemed to catch several players off guard. Kevin Love's voice came next. "What do you mean, Bron? You thinking about leaving again?" LeBron leaned forward in the video. "I kept my promise to bring a championship to Cleveland. I did what I came back to do, but I have other goals in my career too. I've had some preliminary talks with Los Angeles. I'll probably be headed there after next season." The camera captured the surprised expressions around the table. J.R. Smith's voice. "You're telling us this now? For real?" LeBron smiled in the video. "Only you guys, my inner circle, know this. I'm trusting you not to leak this outside our group. This stays between us." The camera caught Kyrie's expression darkening as he asked, "So you've already been talking to Los Angeles before even mentioning this to us?" "That's how the business works, young man," LeBron responded, with a slight patronizing tone. "You need to chart your own path too. I'm leaving, you guys do whatever you want." The video ended there. The studio was completely silent for several seconds. The camera panned across the faces in the studio. Greg Morris and Sophia Chen looked shocked. Wilson was carefully maintaining his professional demeanor, and LeBron's expression had gone completely neutral, the kind of practiced blank look that professional athletes develop for tense press conferences. Wilson broke the silence. "LeBron, you've just seen this video. What's your response?" LeBron took a moment before speaking. "I think this video is taken completely out of context," he said, his voice measured. "Yes, we had a conversation about future possibilities at that dinner. But this was a private, candid moment between teammates where we were all just talking openly about potential scenarios. This wasn't some formal announcement of my plans." "Was it a joke, LeBron?" Kyrie intervened, his voice still calm but with an edge. "Because none of us took it that way. We all understood you were serious. And after this conversation I requested a trade because I realized there was no future for the team with you already planning your exit." Wilson sensed the growing tension and directed the conversation slightly. "Kyrie, this video is from 2017. Why did you decide to share it now, 5 years later?" "I never intended to make this public," said Kyrie. "I kept it private all this time. But sitting here today, watching LeBron claim he's always been transparent and loyal to his teammates, I couldn't let that stand unchallenged. That dinner was the moment I realized I needed to leave Cleveland, precisely because LeBron wasn't being transparent with everyone else, only with his inner circle, and only when it suited him." Greg Morris, drawing on his experience as a former player, joined the discussion. "This kind of situation isn't uncommon in professional basketball. Players often explore their options with other teams before making decisions public. The business side of sports often requires discretion. What's uncommon," Kyrie countered, "is sitting on national television years later, claiming you've always been forthright with teammates when the reality was different. We were all blindsided by LeBron's admission that night. It came out of nowhere." Sophia Chen posed a pointed question. "Kyrie, do you believe this video fundamentally contradicts LeBron's statement today that I've always been honest with his teammates?" "Without question," said Kyrie. "This video shows that LeBron was having private conversations with another organization while telling the public something completely different. And even with us, his teammates, he only shared this information when it was already decided, not while he was making the decision." Wilson turned back to LeBron. "The timeline here seems significant. In this video from summer 2017, you clearly mentioned talks with Los Angeles, but you didn't announce your move to the Lakers until July 2018, nearly a year later. Was this already a done deal behind the scenes?" LeBron shifted in his seat. "Look, in professional sports, exploratory conversations happen all the time. Yes, I had preliminary discussions about potential future options, but that doesn't contradict what I said earlier. I told my teammates about these discussions, exactly as you saw in the video. I was being honest with them about the possibilities I was considering. But you presented it as a decision already made," Kyrie pointed out. "You said I'm leaving, not I'm thinking about leaving, or I might explore options. And you admitted to already having talks with Los Angeles without telling any of us until that moment." The debate was reaching a crucial point when Wilson received another message through his earpiece. His eyebrows rose in surprise. "I'm being told we have another unexpected guest who wants to join our conversation," said Wilson. "Kevin Love has also reached out to our producers and wants to connect to the program. He says he was at this dinner and wants to add his perspective." Within moments, Kevin Love's image appeared on screen alongside Kyrie's. "Kevin, welcome to the program," said Wilson. "You were also at this dinner meeting. Having just seen this footage, what's your take on what was said and the context around it?" Kevin Love appeared thoughtful before responding. "Yes, I was at the table that night. What you're seeing in the video did happen. LeBron did talk about potentially going to Los Angeles. But what's not shown in this clip is the full conversation. After what you just saw, the discussion continued, and LeBron also said something to the effect of, 'But this is just one possibility I'm exploring. Nothing's set in stone. Staying in Cleveland remains an option too.'" Wilson immediately seized on this. "Kyrie, Kevin suggests there's more to this conversation that wasn't included in the clip you shared. Is there more to the video?" Kyrie hesitated momentarily. "Yes, the conversation did continue, but the most significant part was what I showed. LeBron explicitly stating he had been talking with Los Angeles and planned to leave. Any softening of that message afterward seemed like backpedaling once he saw our reactions." Wilson directed the conversation back to LeBron. "After this dinner meeting, how did it affect the team dynamics? What was your teammates' reaction in the following days and weeks?" LeBron considered his answer carefully. "Everyone processes information differently. Some players started thinking about their own futures more actively, which is natural in professional sports. Kyrie requested a trade shortly after. Others stayed committed to Cleveland, but my intention was never to disrupt the team. I was simply being open about possibilities I was considering, which is what I've maintained all along." Kevin Love added his perspective. "After that dinner, I actually had a private conversation with LeBron. He told me, 'Kevin, regardless of what happens with me or anyone else, you're under contract here, so I wanted to be upfront with you about what might be coming.' I appreciated that transparency, even if the situation wasn't ideal." "For me," Kyrie explained, "that dinner was a turning point. If LeBron was already making plans to leave, it made no sense for me to wait around another year. I wanted to control my own destiny." Wilson, sensing an opportunity to bring the confrontation to a more personal level, made an unexpected move. He extended his phone toward LeBron. "LeBron, would you like to speak directly with Kyrie? Maybe a one-on-one conversation might help clarify things between you two." LeBron looked surprised but took the phone. "Sure, why not?" He dialed Kyrie's number and put the call on speaker, creating the unusual situation of Kyrie appearing both on the studio screen and now being heard through LeBron's phone. "Kyrie," LeBron began, his tone noticeably softer, "I'm not angry that you shared this video. I understand why you might have felt the need to record that conversation and why you're bringing it up now. But I think there's a fundamental misunderstanding between us about what happened back then." "What misunderstanding, LeBron?" Kyrie asked, his voice steady. "What I said at that dinner wasn't some formal declaration of my plans. It was me thinking out loud among people I trusted. Yes, I had exploratory talks with Los Angeles. That's part of being a professional athlete. But I hadn't made any firm decisions at that point." "It certainly didn't come across that way," Kyrie responded. "And if that was just you thinking out loud, why didn't you ever clarify that to the media or fans? You let everyone believe you were fully committed to Cleveland right up until you announced your move to LA. Because things in professional sports are fluid," LeBron countered. "Plans change, circumstances evolve. I was considering options, and I shared those considerations with my closest teammates, which is exactly the transparency I've been talking about." Just as the conversation between LeBron and Kyrie was intensifying, another development occurred. Tristan Thompson, who had also been watching the broadcast, connected to the program. "I need to weigh in on this," said Tristan as he appeared on screen. "I was sitting at that table too, and I think some important context is missing here." "What context, Tristan?" Wilson asked. What viewers didn't see in Kyrie's clip was the end of the conversation, when LeBron specifically said, "But whatever happens, we're family. We've been through too much together. Whether I stay or go, whether any of us stay or go, we'll always support each other." That part matters because it shows the spirit of the conversation. Kyrie acknowledged this with a slight nod. "Yes, LeBron did say something along those lines at the end of our talk, but that doesn't change the core issue. He had been having discussions with another team without any of us knowing, and he presented his potential departure as essentially decided." Wilson recognized it was time to bring the discussion toward a conclusion. "How has this experience affected your relationship over the years? Where do things stand between you two now?" LeBron answered first. "Kyrie and I have always had a complex relationship. We achieved something historic together, bringing Cleveland its first championship in over 50 years. That creates a bond that doesn't break easily, even when paths diverge. I've always respected Kyrie's game and his decision to forge his own path. I respect what LeBron has accomplished as a player, Kyrie said carefully. The years we played together taught me a lot, but there were communication breakdowns that affected trust, as this video shows. As the program neared its end, Wilson gave each participant a chance for closing remarks. Looking back, said LeBron, I've always tried to be honest with my teammates throughout my career. Maybe I wasn't always perfect in how I communicated, but my intentions were good. The championship we won together in Cleveland will always be special to me, regardless of what came after. What matters to me is truth, said Kyrie. I didn't share this video to attack LeBron, but to set the record straight. Every player deserves to control their own narrative and make informed decisions about their career. I'm proud of what we accomplished as a team, added Kevin Love. Relationships in professional sports are complicated, but what we did in Cleveland was historic. The NBA is both a game and a business, Tristan Thompson concluded. We're all just trying to make the best decisions for ourselves while respecting what we built together. LeBron offered a final thought. What's happened here today actually shows something positive. That even 5 years later, with all of us on different teams and in different phases of our careers, we can still have these difficult conversations. We can disagree about the past but still respect each other's perspectives. In many ways, that's as impressive as anything we did on the court together. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like this video. What do you think about this topic? Please write in the comments below. See you in the next video.